Hi there, everyone. This is Ryan from the Southern Maryland office of Real Property Management Gold, locally serving St. Mary's, Charles, and Calvert counties, out of offices in Lexington Park and Waldorf. Today, I want to discuss a very important topic for the rental industry, and that is tenant screening. We do get a lot of questions about how do you guys screen your tenants, why do you guys screen your tenants, things like that. So I'm going to go into detail on just some things that you can look out for as a landlord in order to make sure that you put the best quality tenant into your property. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is it starts even before you have the prospective tenant. You want to create a rental listing that makes it very clear what your criteria is for renting the property. You want to make sure that you put what your credit requirement's going to be. You want to put what your rental history needs to be, whether or not you're going to accept pets, all those different kinds of things for the rental in your listing, and make it clear before you start showing the property to people what those expectations are, because you don't want to waste your time showing a property to people who aren't qualified to begin with. You do, however, need to be careful that you do not describe what kind of renter you want. You can put down qualifications, but you cannot describe what kind of renter they want, because what kind of renter you want, because that could be considered a fair housing violation. More info on fair housing can also be found on our site, but just make sure you make it clear in your listing exactly what your criteria is for renting. The next thing you want to do is when someone calls in, they see your listing and they call in, you want to talk to them before you show them the property, and you want to pre-screen them over the phone. You want to ask them some open-ended questions and just see if they say anything while they're answering those open-ended questions that would disqualify them from renting the home. Of course, they're gonna, if you ask them directly, are you this, are you that, are you going to do this? They're going to say just whatever they think you want to hear. If you answer an open-ended question and they haven't seen the qualifications of the listing, and they tell you the truth and they don't meet the qualifications, just kick them to the side and move on to the next person. This happens quite often, and a lot of times when you have a rental listing out there, especially in our part of Southern Maryland here, probably half the people that call are not qualified at all to rent your property, and they're just wasting your time, or they're looking for some sucker to just let them move into the house. So make sure you screen them out before you show them the property. Next thing you want to do is, if you find someone you think is qualified to rent, you want to show them the property. But when they come to the property, there's certain things that you want to assess with them when they get there. Those include, are they on time? If the person is on time and respects your time, chances are if you rent to them, they're going to respect your time when they become a tenant. You also want to check and see if they're really nitpicky about things. There are things that can need to be addressed, but if they go through and they nitpick the whole house and complain about things, you probably don't want to rent to them, because once they move in, they're going to do the same thing, and then you're going to have you're going to be obligated to take action or have to deal with them consistently throughout the tenancy. Next thing you want to do is you want to have a rental application. So, that you show them the house, they say they're interested, they want to move forward. Make sure you send them a clear rental application. Make sure that you have everyone over the age of 18 who's going to be residing in the rental fill out the application. Sometimes the spouse will have better credit than the other one, or they'll have children who are college age, who may have criminal records, things like that. So you want to get an application from everyone over the age of 18. And you want to make sure that you let them know that you're going to run a screening on them once you receive that application, and take an application fee. A lot of people who know they're not going to be qualified aren't going to waste the $40 on an application fee. So make sure that you collect an application fee, and it'll also give you a little bit of money just to make sure that you can pay for credit checks that are criminal background and things like that, because those do cost money online. Okay, so you receive the rental application. The next thing you want to do is you want to look into this person. First of all, you want to check and see, you make sure that they make enough money. Make sure you get real pay stubs and it's actually that person. You also want to ask for an ID so you can match up and make sure that they are the person who they say they are. A copy of ID usually suffices. Once you have that, you want to go ahead and run their credit. You can do that through Experian. Any of the credit agencies can assist you with running credit. You also want to log into the Maryland Judiciary Case Search website. This is probably the easiest way to run a background check. Just go and just type their name into that, and they'll give you an idea of if they have anything going on criminally in regards to it. And you won't have to pay for a screening. in regards to criminal matters. You also want to you want to check and see what their previous rental history was. If they're renting from an apartment complex or another reputable management company, you can go ahead and call that reference because more than likely they will give you some useful information. However, be careful if they give you just the name of some guy who they claim was their landlord. A lot of times we find that this is fake. If you can't verify the landlord, because it's not a professional company, ask them to provide you with copies of the checks showing that they paid their rent every month on time, or bank statements showing that they paid their rent every month on time. Bank statements and hard documents don't lie in this game. So you can always ask for those to verify that they've paid rent. Verifying that a person has paid rent on time at their previous residence is the number one way to ensure that you're going to get your rent on time in your residence. Once you have someone who's qualified and you want them to move into your property, go ahead and draft the lease and give them 24 to 48 hours to sign it and provide you with the security deposit. We usually take the security deposit as a hold deposit on the property. Usually if someone's going to give you 1 full month's rent, they're not going to back out of the lease at the last minute. And you can put in the lease that if they back out once they sign and they don't ever actually move in, you get to keep that deposit. So you want to go ahead and hold that, make sure it clears. Last thing you want to do is when they're ready to move in, you want to make sure that you take their first month's rent and deposit in certified funds. Do not accept the personal check. A lot of times if that personal check bounces and you let them move in, then you have to go through the eviction process. So you can actually you can move somebody in who has not paid anything, and they will get to stay in your house from probably 6 to 12 weeks as you're going through the eviction process without even you receiving a cent if they bounce that initial rent check. So be careful on that. All right, this is Ryan Bertucci from the Southern Maryland Office of Real Property Management. I hope this blog was helpful. We have plenty of others on our site, so feel free to check them out. If you have any questions, just give us a call here at the office. Thanks.